I knew soon as the birth rate numbers came out that there would be several articles written about the birth rates and people choosing to have kids or not. So we have this article from CBS, Why More Couples Are Choosing a Life Without Children. That article came out May 1st. I'll come back to this. Also on May 1st, this article from earth.com, they're saying our current fertility rate isn't enough for human survival, but they are clearly, this country and globally, they are not making it, they're not making it so that women want to actually bring babies into this world. Let's go back to the CBS article and then I'll come to this. All right, the CBS article. It says, as the oldest of the baby boomer generation turns 80 next year and the youngest becomes eligible for Social Security, Trump is pushing for a second baby boom amid declining birth rates. The Trump administration even floated a silly, ridiculous, abysmal proposal for a $5,000 baby bonus to offset the cost of child rearing. So ridiculous. Okay, I'm sorry. But for many young couples, there is no amount of money to change their minds. Tiana and PJ Morales got married 7 years ago, and as newlyweds, they traveled the world. Before too long, they say relatives would ask if they plan to have children, but the Florida couple says they're not having kids, not now, not ever. Tiana, now 37, says when she was younger, she assumed she'd be a mom. After spending her early 20s as a nanny caring for 4 kids at once, that assumption changed. It just dawned on me, is this what I would want to do every single day? Tiana said. The U.S. fertility rate has plummeted in the last 2 decades and now sits near record lows, according to CDC data released last week. Some young adults say high costs are holding them back and that $5,000 shouldn't move anybody. Others fear climate change. Some are putting their careers first, but many say they simply don't want kids. We are raised to believe that it is our destiny to become parents, said Amy Blackstone, a University of Maine sociology professor who has published a number of studies on those who call themselves child-free by choice. It's a personal issue for Blackstone and her husband, Lance, who decided 2 years ago to be a family of just 2. Child-free person will say, I value my relationship with my partner so much that I didn't want another party changing that relationship. A parent will say the imagined relationship with a child is so important to me that I want that relationship. When Tiana's friends began having kids, she started organizing occasional get-togethers for others who want to be child-free. Their reasons range from lifestyle factors to what's going on in the world and climate change. While Tiana Morales is mostly confident in her decision, she says a small part of her wonders what things will look like in the future. I grew up in a big family and the holidays were always surrounded by a large family. It's fun. And so as I age, what will holidays look like? Will they be just as fun? I don't know, she said. But it was a choice, theirs and only theirs, that was made with careful thought. And that is the difference between the generation of right now and generations past. We now have the choice to opt in or opt out of motherhood, and that is amazing. It is amazing to be able to dictate your life. Now, let's move on to the second article. All right, the second article. Our current fertility rate isn't enough for human survival. Let's see if they propose anything that actually fixes any of the issues that women are talking about as to why they do not want to have babies. Let's see. Humanity has spent the last century wrestling with population growth. For decades, global efforts focused on reducing fertility rates to curb overpopulation. Family planning, access to contraception, and changing social norms contributed to a steep decline in births. The global total fertility rate dropped from 5.3 in the 60s to 2.3 by 2023. Today, however, we face a paradox. Instead of a crowded future, scientists are now warning of potential collapse, not from too many people, but too few, which is silly considering how many people we have on Earth right now. A recent study published in the journal PLOS, or I guess PLOS One, shifts the narrative again, led by Takuya Okabe of Shizuoka University and colleagues. The research argues that the widely accepted replacement rate of 2.1 children per woman is too low to guarantee long-term survival. The analysis suggests a more realistic number is 2.7. This higher threshold takes into account the unpredictable forces that shape real-world populations, forces that statistics alone often overlook. Why 2.1 isn't enough anymore. The replacement fertility rate of 2.1 assumes a stable world. It expects low child mortality, equal numbers of boys and girls, and large, steady populations. These assumptions work in clean models, but reality is messier. People don't always have two children. Some have none, some die before reproducing, and in small populations, such random variation, called demographic stochasticity, can wipe out entire family lines. Okabe and his team developed mathematical models to test what happens over generations when these fluctuations are included. They simulated populations using a branching process, a tool commonly used in population ecology. Each woman could have any number of children, following a Poisson distribution, and not all offspring would survive. These models revealed that unless the average number of children reaches 2.7, the risk of extinction remains high over time. In short, the study calls for a re-evaluation of what sustainability truly means. The average isn't enough if too many fall below it. Low fertility rate may erase family lines. The consequences aren't only theoretical. Even in large countries with millions of people, most family lineages will eventually disappear if the fertility rate remains below 2.7. This has profound implications for identity, heritage, and cultural memory. Your surname, your traditions, your family stories. Without enough descendants, all of it vanishes with time. Considering stochasticity in fertility and mortality rates and sex ratios. And stochasticity means randomness. So randomness in fertility and mortality rates and sex ratios, says Diane Carmelisa in Curisma. A fertility rate higher than the standard replacement level is necessary to ensure sustainability of our population. Extinction here doesn't mean the end of humanity in one dramatic event. Rather, it means the quiet fading away of individual histories, surnames, and ancestral lines. It's an erosion of human diversity, invisible until it's too late to reverse. This applies not only to families, but to the world's languages and cultures. At least 40% of the 6,700 spoken languages are predicted to vanish in the next century. Each lost language takes with it stories, songs, and spiritual beliefs that no data set can replace. Fertility rate is dropping across the world. While global population numbers still rise, the future looks different depending on where you live. 2/3 of the world's people now reside in countries with fertility rates below the 2.1 mark. In Japan, the rate is 1.3. In South Korea, it's dropped as low as 0.87. And honestly, I'm pretty sure that South Korea is 0.7. Even in the United States, it's only 1.66. These numbers suggest slow decline, but the reality may be steeper, especially in the United States, as we are running people out of the country, as we're running immigrants out of the country. Our numbers will drop even more. All right, it says Japan's population, for example, is projected to shrink by 31% every generation if current trends continue. This decline is compounded by aging, as fewer young people are born to support older ones. Policies in countries like France and Singapore attempt to raise birth rates through incentives, but they've seen only modest results. Modern life comes with trade-offs. Education and careers delay parenthood. Housing and childcare costs are high. In some cultures, single-child families have become the norm. These social realities are harder to change than the numbers suggest. And political environments are speaking to people. And women, at least in our country, I know, are saying no because of what is going on in the political climate. Female biased births reduce extinction risk. The study offers a compelling insight. More girls can help prevent collapse. This isn't about social engineering, but about biology's quiet adjustments. A female biased sex ratio at birth increases the pool of future mothers. This gives populations a better chance at sustaining themselves. Stressful environments often trigger such shifts. Wars, famines, and environmental disasters have led to more girls being born. In humans, psychological stress, poor nutrition, pollution, and even natural disasters have all been linked to a rise in female births. The same pattern appears in mammals like cattle, pigs, rats, and mice. These adaptive shifts may be nature's way of giving species a survival edge when facing extreme pressure. The presence of more females, even slightly, improves odds that some lineages will persist through hard times. Before I get to this next part, I want us to remember in some of these cultures that edify male babies, they're the ones that are seeing a lot of decline because of a patriarchy that puts boys up on a pedestal. And so for that, they are getting exactly what they deserve with their population collapse. Now let's get back to this part of the article. Low fertility rate often leads to collapse. Okabe's team simulated thousands of generations to see what happens when fertility remains below the 2.7 mark. Most populations collapsed within 20 generations. I did skip some of this article and I'm bringing it to the end. It says this research brings nuance to that conversation. It shows that the path to survival isn't just about numbers. It's about understanding the complex web of chance, biology, and behavior. As fertility rates fall and the world changes, we must ask what kind of future we want, not just one where humans survive, but one where traditions, languages, and lineages live on. A fertility rate of 2.1 may no longer be enough to keep that future alive. The study is published in the journal PLOS One. And like I said before, these articles do not bring out the many different reasons that women are saying that they are opting out. These people do hit some of the points, but they do not hone in on the fact that women are tired of shouldering the parenting alone, that it just costs way too much, that governments are antagonistic to mothers and children. There are so many different reasons why women don't want to have babies. And until they get to the nitty gritty of the reasons why women are opting out, they can do all of these models or whatnot, but it's not going to change course for anybody. Anyways, I like reading these articles just to see if there's ever anything new, and these people are still not giving me anything new. Join the conversation though. Let me know what you think. Are you on team let the birth rate plummet to hell, or are you on team let's have some babies or something? All right, join the conversation, like, comment.
Come on, have a baby. Come on. You want a rice cake? It's all yours. Start popping them out. Will this change your mind? And this, gonna both of them? What about her? She's singing your song? Open your coat to me, baby. How me the lock and you me the key. Open your coat to me. I guess you hate your country. I said, I guess you hate. What do you want? Go ahead and tell Uncle Sam what he needs to give you to make him Daddy Sam. Universal? No. No. Where did you even hear that? Every other country. Well, all right. You drive a hard bargain. I respect that. I like that. I'm not supposed to do this. Oh, here it is. I know you like the sound of that. 9 kids or more. Novelty mug. From that song you guys like.